This is a spreadsheet. And this is an app built on top of that spreadsheet. Maybe you have an Excel workbook packed with data, and you're tired of squinting at cells or sharing clunky files. In just a few minutes, you can turn that sheet into a working app without writing any code. In this tutorial, you'll learn exactly how to do that using Glide, a no-code tool that connects directly to your Excel workbooks and other sources like Google Sheets, Airtable, and databases, and lets you build apps on top of that data. When you connect an Excel file from OneDrive or SharePoint, that workbook stays the database, you get a visual editor on top, and everything stays in sync. So let's get into it. Step 1. Preparing your data. Before we touch Glide, the first and very important step is to get your spreadsheet ready. Glide works best with clean, well-structured data. Here are some simple guidelines to follow. First, your headers matter. The very first row needs to contain descriptive column names. Things like name, email, company name, or industry. Every column should have a unique header, and none should be left blank. These labels are how Glide understands your data. Second, keep it clean. Structure your data like a simple table. Each row is one record. Each column is one type of information. No empty columns between your data. Glide might not detect columns that come after a gap. And definitely no merged cells. They might look nice in a spreadsheet, but they break the tabular structure Glide needs. Third, be consistent with your data types. If a column is for dates, keep it all dates. Avoid throwing in text like TBD. If it's for numbers, don't mix in letters. Consistency helps Glide automatically recognize what each column contains. Fourth, simplify the formatting. For now, Glide reads your raw data, not the visual styling. Cell colors, bold text, merged headers, none of that carries over. If you've been using color coding, add a status column with values like completed or in progress instead of relying on cell color. One more tip. Glide is smart about recognizing certain data. Name a column email and it automatically makes those clickable. Same with phone. It adds calling functionality. And any URL starting with HTTPS will display as a link or show as an image. All right, headers in row 1. No gaps or merged cells. Consistent data types. Do this in your Excel file and you're ready. Step 2. Connecting your Excel file to Glide. Now that your data is clean and organized, it's time for the magic. Connecting it to Glide and actually creating your app. Here's how to do it. Head to glideapps.com and create a free account. Once you're in the dashboard, click New App and choose to start with your own data. This is where you tell Glide which source you want to use. Glide can connect to Google Sheets, Excel, Airtable, and more. But in this tutorial, we're going to use an Excel workbook. If your Excel file lives in OneDrive or SharePoint, choose Microsoft Excel as your source, sign in with your Microsoft account, then navigate to your workbook and select it. Glide pulls in your data and turns your tables into data sources in your app. When you first connect an Excel workbook from OneDrive or SharePoint, Glide may prompt you to add a row ID column if your table doesn't already have a unique identifier. This helps Glide keep each row in sync between the app and Excel. If you just have a local Excel file on your computer, you can upload it directly. Glide will create a new Glide table from that file, so you can still build the same kind of app experience. From that point on, changes you make in the app update the Glide table, not the original file on your desktop. Here's the cool part. When you're using a connected Excel file from OneDrive or SharePoint, everything stays in sync. Change something in the workbook, and it shows up in the app within a minute or two. Change something in the app, and it writes back to Excel. Two-way street. After you select your Excel data, Glide will import it and auto-generate a basic app from it. It scans your columns, figures out what each one might be, and generates a starter layout automatically. This is just a first draft, but the real power comes from customizing it with components. Step 3. Building your app. You're in the Glide Builder. The center shows a live preview of your app. You can actually interact with it. On the left, you'll see your screens and components. On the right, configuration options for whatever you've selected. Components are your building blocks: text, images, lists, buttons, forms, charts, maps. Glide added some automatically, but you can add more. Click the plus button and browse what's available. Every component connects to your data in Excel through Glide. A title component might pull from your name or company column. A list shows all the rows from a table. You configure what data each component displays using simple drop-down menus. No code, just point and click. Screens organize your app. You've got list screens showing multiple items, detail screens for viewing one item, and form screens for adding or editing data. Navigation happens through tabs at the bottom on mobile or a sidebar on desktop. Feel free to experiment. Drag components around, try different layouts, switch between list view and card view. You can always undo. Step 4. Workflows and automations. Workflows let you automate multi-step processes on top of your Excel data. Maybe when someone submits a form, you want to add a row and send an email notification. Or when a button is tapped, update a status and navigate to another screen. You set up a trigger, define the steps, and Glide handles it automatically. This deserves its own deep dive in a future video. For now, just know the capability is there when you need it. Step 5. Publish and share. The last step is to get it into the hands of others, or just onto your own phone. Glide makes this part really easy too. When you're happy with how your app is working, find the Publish button. With one click, Glide will package up your app and give you a shareable link. This link is essentially the URL of your new app. Glide apps are progressive web apps, which means they run in a web browser but can behave like mobile apps. You can now share this link with anyone you want to use the app. Email it to teammates, drop it into Slack, or even generate a QR code. When someone opens the link on their phone, they can follow a prompt to Add to Home Screen, which installs the app icon on their phone. Then it feels just like any other app for them. The app is live as soon as you hit Publish. And because it's connected to your Excel data, especially if you're using a OneDrive or SharePoint workbook, any changes you or your users make will update in real time for everyone. And that's it. You now know how to take an Excel workbook and turn it into a working app with Glide. The more you experiment, the more you'll discover what's possible. Glide also supports other data sources like Google Sheets, Airtable, and databases. So once you're comfortable with this Excel flow, you can bring in data from other places too. Start for free today at glideapps.com. We can't wait to see what you build.